Welcome in, everybody, to the Booty Scoot Racing channel, live here from the Kentucky Motor Speedway for the Madness Racing League Gen-6 Cup Series Season 3. The Cup Series is back in action, and the Gen-6 Cup cars have been dusted off out of the garage here at the Kentucky Speedway. We're getting ready to go racing here tonight for 110 laps around this mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter style racetrack located here in Sparta, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, looks like we'll have about 15 to 16 guys. Some of these guys tuning out back out here again for another trip of the MRL Gen-6 Cup Series back down here on the main broadcast cam. Welcome into the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150, ladies and gentlemen, presented to you by the Madness Racing League. Brought to you and sponsored the series by KnappDaddyRacing Designs. All my fellow iRacers out there, make sure you get your phone out now. Go check out the series sponsor, KnappDaddyRacingDesigns.com today for all of your iRacing paint schemes, custom numbers, and spec designs. Check them out today, KnappDaddyRacing.com. Qualifying session is getting ready to wound up here and come to a complete end here tonight at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. And looks like I'm being told by the admin we're good to go ahead and show you guys the results here tonight for the qualifying session. Terry Hughes Jr. out front here tonight in Kentucky. He'll win the first pole of Season 3 for the Gen-6 Cup Series. We've seen Terry Hughes Jr. leave off these Gen-6 Cup cars quite strong here. The Troy, Alabama driver will start from the first place spot here tonight, adding those bonus points to his total score. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to get what you deserve. Some action-packed racing here tonight around this beautiful racetrack. The lights will come on right here. The sun will go down. And we'll have the driver introduction portion parts of tonight's event here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, a brand new camera package here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for tonight's KnappDaddyRacing 150. We're still waiting for the drivers to load in here now that it has switched over into the main portion part of tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There they are, your guys, your favorite drivers rolling out on the grid here. As these guys have been locked and loaded here all day long inside of the racetrack. Seen tons of guys out there on the fan zone. Guys out there getting their brand new favorite driver's shirt here for the Gen-6 Cup Series. It's been a while since we've been there. Terry Hughes Jr. is going to be on the pole here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just waiting on just a couple more guys to come in here tonight, and we will have everything that you are looking for. Appreciate everybody joining in here, bringing you another year of Cup Series racing. Hopefully we can have a great race here tonight. Looks like we're going to have 14 cars piling out here. Race number 1 at the Kentucky Speedway here tonight. Terry Hughes Jr. is locked and loaded in on the grid. Looks like we're waiting for a couple more drivers here. We'll go ahead and get tonight started. Grid started. Starting on the pole, driving on the peak, coolant, antifreeze, number 81 Ford Mustang. That's going to be Terry Hughes Jr. And starting on the outside of him, driving the number 6 Viagra Ford Mustang from Greenville, South Carolina. That's James Fountain. Driving the number 4 Rush Motorsports Budweiser Chevy Camaro. If I could ever get that out of my mouth, that's the Rush Motorsports owner from Hawthorne, New Jersey, of Kevin Tankos. And driving the Oxalta number 88 Chevy Camaro from Coleman, Alabama. That's the 22-year-old of Ty Robertson. Checking out the 5th place spot here tonight, driving the Jacksonville Jaguars number 88 Chase Johnson Race and Chevy Camaro. That's Corey Tessner. Driving the number 57 Chevy Camaro from the HendrickCars.com camp. That's the Park Ridge, New Jersey Madness Racing League Gen-6 driver of Jerry Powers. And driving the number 13 Red Bull Premier setup from KnappDaddyRacingDesigns.com. That's the Goldsboro, North Carolina driver of Jonathan Smith. Driving the number 02 Orange and Black Maynard Motors Ford Mustang from Welford, South Carolina. That's going to be the 23-year-old of Nicholas Maynard. Driving the number 33 Skull Bandit machine. That's the OG Season 1 Gen-6 Cup driver of Tony Cook. And on the outside of him, driving the backup car here tonight out of the practice session, the number 1 STI Johnson Season 1 champion here for the Madness Racing League Gen-6 Cup Series, Chase Johnson. Making his Gen-6 debut here tonight, driving the number 9 Chevy Camaro from Lincoln, New Hampshire, excuse me. That's Colin Cole. And on the outside of him, will be the number 40 Red Bull Chevy Camaro of the number 40 Michael Johnson. Driving the number 45 U.S. Coast Guard Chevy Camaro from Newark, New Jersey. Every league needs a Norm Benning. 10 Powers looking to lock and load himself to the front of the pack here tonight. Bobby Kyle driving the 777 Chevy Camaro from Honorsville, Georgia. Bobby Kyle, a 2-time Gen-6 MRL winner. See if he can come back to victory lane here tonight. The 64-year-old will start in the 14th place spot. On the outside of him, driving a backup car here tonight, the number 16 Toyota Camry, wrecked in the practice session from Santan Valley, Arizona. That's Blake Hochschild. And starting shotgun tail into the field here tonight, driving the Klondike number 18 Ford Mustang from Troy, Alabama, Trent Hughes. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to go racing here tonight at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Terry Hughes Jr. on the pole here for the KnappDaddyRacing 150, ladies and gentlemen, presented to you here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. 150 laps are what we're going to shake out here tonight. We'll go ahead and bring up those keys of the race. I want to make sure you guys are locked and loaded and have everything right here by your side. You're ready to go racing here tonight for 110 laps. Give it just a minute here to pull up the iRacing, and it'll pull up my live screen. I apologize for that. Bang, ladies and gentlemen. Getting ready to go racing here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. 2 sets of tires, 0 fast repairs, 110 laps. The keys of the race are going to have to keep it clean, save those Goodyear tires, and manage turns 3 and 4. It's going to get tricky over here. I'll bring all the knowledge you need to your brain here momentarily. And finally, the pit road entry is what we are going to have to watch out for if we get the green flag pit stops here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, things are getting ready to get wicked here tonight in Kentucky. A bunch of hillbillies, tons of rednecks pile out here tonight to watch the Madness Racing League Next Gen Cup Series. You're locked and loaded on the TikTok. You're locked and loaded over on YouTube, located in the top right portion of your screen. You head over there now, you will find exactly what you're looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, the lights are off on top of the pace car. We are getting ready to go racing here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and you're looking high and dry up here in the spotter stand. Got a couple spotters up here tonight for a couple of the drivers out in the Madness Racing League. Kevin Tankos, driver the number 4 Budweiser Chevy Camaro, will have his younger brother of Jacob Tankos live up here from the spotter stand. He's getting the view that he'll get here tonight for the 110 laps. And finally, Jonathan Smith will have another spotter up here as well. Baker Knapp up here making things shake. You're going to see the beautiful view here kind of get smaller as they get back there on the back straightaway. It's going to be hard to clear these drivers all night long, ladies and gentlemen. Now you are looking down at what's going to be our fan cam here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You bought a ticket here tonight, you couldn't make it. This is exactly what you would be seeing here tonight in Sparta, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to go racing here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway for the KnappDaddyRacing 150. Terry Hughes Jr. on the pole for 110 laps here tonight. Terry Hughes Jr. still looking for that Madness Racing League first career win. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting ready to go racing. The pit car will take the left on the pit lane, and we should be hitting that gas here momentarily. Flying off here, the iRacing blimp slowly blowing in on the right side portion of your screen. Billy the blimp driver will be up there with us all night long, bringing us all of our things. We'll be hitting them momentarily. Hopefully he hasn't been throwing back too many of those Bud Lights that we gave him before he went up there. Green flag getting ready to fly in the air here for the KnappDaddyRacing 150 live here in Kentucky. The rednecks stand up. We're racing here in Kentucky. Green flag is in the air. Terry Hughes Jr. on the inside. James Fatwin on the outside. Dang, here comes Kevin Tankos. He'll put his foot down on the gas. The lights are fully illuminated here in Kentucky. We're up and rolling down the back straightaway here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Headed through your living room. Tricky turn 3 and 4 are going to be all night long here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Fountain trying to get out to the race lead over Terry Hughes Jr., but he's not able to shake to it. Hughes is going to lead the first opening lap here of Season 3 of the Gen-6 Cup Series. Terry Hughes Jr. trying to make his name known here tonight. Here, tons of fans out there trying to get a hold of that brand new 81 pink antifreeze t-shirt that he had out there on that trailer in the fan zone for everybody to buy. We're side by side, 3 rows back. Jerry Powers looking 3 wide up the middle, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Kentucky Speedway. It's only lap 3. We're working it here, ladies and gentlemen. 3 wide across the front stretch. There has not been one of these rednecks set that ass down yet. We're up and moving here in Kentucky. Look at these beautiful shots around the Kentucky Speedway. Looks like Michael Johnson started the race kind of low on some air pressure. He's scraping through turns 1 and 2, 3 wide down the back straightaway. Johnson on the outside. Chase Johnson in the middle. Tate goes down on the bottom side. Chase Johnson will slide down here on the bottom side of the racetrack. Looks like we get a little bit more momentum than the rest of the guys. They're working up the banking of turns 3 and 4, heading back across the front straightaway. It's going to be Hughes, Fountain, Powers, Maynard, the top 4 here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Nicholas Maynard trying to work his way back up here in the Gen-6 Cup Series. He'll at the top side of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. He'll get a run to that back bumper of Jerry Powers. How will he manage it here down the back straightaway? Ladies and gentlemen, you're up here on the spotter stand. Kevin Tanko's little brother, Jacob Tanko's spotting him as Kevin Tanko's located right here on your screen. That red machine coming to turns 3 and 4 right now. He's a little low on the bottom side of the racetrack. His younger brother telling him, you're going to have to get up here, create some momentum off the exit of turns 3 and 4. Terry Hughes Jr. checks out by about 3 car lengths here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Hughes, Fountain, Powers, the top 3 into turns 3 and 4. Powers bottoming out here through turns 3 and 4. You see the sparks rolling out the bottom of that number 57. And Nicholas Maynard trying to make something shake. Ty Robertson, Chase Johnson battle door to door here for the 5th place spot on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Chase Johnson's going to continue to battle a little bit of trouble here. The higher he moves up on this racetrack to turns 3 and 4. That'll open up the door down underneath him for Michael Johnson. It looks like Ty Robertson will miss the corners just as much as Chase Johnson and Corey Tessner. But here comes Nicholas Maynard on the outside. He's looking to get around Jerry Powers in this number 57. We're 2 wide for the race lead. James Fountain looking to get around Terry Hughes Jr. at the Kentucky Speedway. Nicholas Maynard comes off of turn 2. He almost had to hop up the gas. James Fountain slaps the outside, safe for a barrier. These guys going at it here in Kentucky. Fountain moves to the outside of the racetrack. He'll clear Terry Hughes Jr. for the race lead, but Nicholas Maynard will get a run across the front straightaway. Terry Hughes Jr. will get plugged 3 wide across the front straightaway. Fountain, Maynard, Hughes, Powers, Johnson the top 5. But Michael Johnson will slide down on that bottom side of the racetrack. He'll plug the hole underneath the number 1 backup machine of Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson working this camouflage number 1 STI Johnson Chevy Camaro for Chase Johnson Racing. Involved in an accident in the practice session. Had to go to the backup car here tonight. Will he have enough speed as he had in the practice session? Chase Johnson going backwards here. He's in the 6th place spot, trying to make something shake. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard's making a move to get James Fountain for the race lead across the front straightaway. Maynard looking down on the bottom side for the race lead around James Fountain. These 2 guys got a history, books, known each other for a while. The 0-2 will go downstairs. Fountain rips the upstairs banking. Powers will pull into the bottom side there with Nicholas Maynard. We're pack racing here in Kentucky. It looks like Jerry Powers will plug down on the bottom side, but Nicholas Maynard will shut off the air. But Terry Hughes Jr. overdrives it into turn 3 and 4, and he's trying to make something shake on that outside of that 0 deuce machine. And here comes the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. back out front here in Kentucky. Maynard will give up the spot there to Terry Hughes Jr. Chase Johnson looking to make something shake across this back bumper here. Some guys going at it here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You can throw a blanket over the top 10 drivers here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Moody out here on the honorary pace car tonight. God, I love me some Dave Moody. 866 pit lane at the NASCAR Series XM. James Fountain leads them in Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a hell of a race here tonight. Anywhere between 33 to 34 laps of Sunoco Racing fuel between these drivers is what I'm being told. So will we manage to get some green flag pit stops here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel? Everybody going. Contacts made there between Chase Johnson and Nicholas Maynard. That'll ship Johnson up the racetrack there. Maynard will lose a little bit of momentum down the back straightaway. Corey Tessner looking to play. The whole contacts made there with Jerry Powers and Nicholas Maynard. He'll shove him up the racetrack here. The battle for the 4th place spot is on through turns 3 and 4. James Fountain has the race lead here. The Kentucky Motor Speedway for the KnappDaddyRacing 150. Chase Johnson, Corey Tessner battling it out here. 2 teammates at the Kentucky Speedway. Tessner got that Jacksonville Jaguars on board here. Both of these guys dragging some sparks out those front splitters here side by side. Down the exit of turn 2, heading down the back straightaway. James Fountain just looking in that mirror, trying to put together some steady lap times right now as he sees the rest of the field battling it out right behind him. We're 3 wide back here. Maynard up top on the outside of the racetrack. What's happening? Here comes Michael Johnson. He'll plug a hole down on the bottom side, and Ty Robertson will find somewhere to put that bright, yellow-orange number 88 Chevy Camaro. Michael Johnson makes contact there with Colin Cole. Colin Cole making his Gen 6 debut here tonight. Then number 9, Chevy Camaro, looks like it's got some speed in it here. He's working down off the exit of turn 2, trying to get a little bit of drafting help there, but it looks like Nicholas Maynard's out of line there with Michael Johnson. Maynard moving up to that top side of the racetrack, and we could ever get about 4 or 5 cars consistently running there lap after lap after lap. I believe that we could probably get some Goodyear rubber to start laying down there in turns 3 and 4. We can see some guys start to get some momentum, start breaking towards the front straightaway here and get going. Ladies and gentlemen, though, Nicholas Maynard all the way from the race lead with James Fallon back here to the 8th place spot, battling door to door here with Colin Cole. These two guys giving each other plenty of space here at the Kentucky Speedway, a 1.5 mile cookie cutter track. And you know what we talk about, we bring up the cookie cutters. Tony Cook, the driver of this number 33 Skull Chevy Camaro. Tony Cook, winner here in the Gen 6 Cup Series. He won one of the dual races in season 1 at the Daytona International Speedway. Tony Cook, one of the first ever Booty Scoot Racing winners here. 3 wide for, looks like going to be the 6th, 7th, and 8th place spot. Maynard upstairs. Tanko's in the middle. Got Colin Cole downstairs. They're going to have to figure it out here. Maynard ripping upstairs here. Will they get it all figured out? Colin Cole makes the pass around Kevin Tanko's. Maynard lifts. Here comes Tony Cook on the bottom side. Holy shit, folks. The Gen 6 Cup Series is up and moving here in the Madness Racing League. And if you haven't ever watched one of our shows here, we got a whole season underneath our belt of the Next Gen Cup Series. Gen 6 Cup Series Season 1, all located in the top right portion of your screen, located on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Everybody looking to be single file here. Nicholas Maynard still struggling with a little bit of a handling condition here. We're listening into his radio presented by the Racing Electronics. Nicholas Maynard here said we're trying to save a little bit of Goodyear rubber, trying to let these guys get out here, see if we can't go running back down and fall back in the line. Nicholas Maynard still selling that outside line here at the Kentucky Speedway through turns 3 and 4. Going to be critical on the Goodyear tires. And ladies and gentlemen, they don't even come here in real life anymore in the NASCAR Cup Series. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. beating all on that back bumper of James Fountain, starting to reel him in here. Fishy, fishy, fishy off the exit of turn 2. Going to be Fountain, Hughes, Tessner, Robertson, Power, Johnson, the top 6 drivers here in the turns 3 and 4. Everybody single file. Got to get back here to this little pack racing we got going. Michael Johnson on the top side of the racetrack. Tony Cook trying to plug something that may not be there as Jonathan Smith looks down right below him. They'll figure it all out across the front straightaway, but look at this run at the 0-2 of Nicholas Maynard. Will get right back up here to the front straightaway. Ladies and gentlemen, door to door with Tony Cook, the OG veteran. Jerry Powers, though, that's the fastest lap for the racetrack that last time around, a 31.76 for Jerry Powers to the race leader, 31.94 of James Fallon. James Fountain in this number 6 Ford Mustang is always driven hard, no pun intended. Viagra on board this season for season 3. Back on board, they'll sign a full 13 race schedule with James Fountain to come on board as the main primary sponsor here for James Fountain. Meanwhile, you see the battle for the race lead. Terry Hughes Jr. bringing in peak antifreeze cooling back into the NASCAR Madness Racing League Gen 6 Cup Series. It looks like they'll sign on board here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. We were talking to Terry Hughes Jr. in the parking lot earlier when he first arrived to the racetrack. I've been camping out here all weekend pretty much. Terry Hughes Jr. driving one of these blue ovals here in the Gen 6 Cup Series where he left off last season. Terry Hughes Jr. said that they had a lot of speed here. He went back out in the garage earlier about 2-3 months ago, started cleaning the carburetor on this number 81 Gen 6 Cup Series when he found out that they were coming back full time here. Terry Hughes Jr. trying to run down James Fountain for the race lead. Now Terry Hughes Jr. said they had to do a lot of beating and banging. They had to order a brand new front clip for that number 81 machine after the end of last season. Meanwhile, look at Chase Johnson and the rest of these guys trying to work their way back up here. Chase Johnson really high on top of the racetrack. 4 wide down on the bottom. We're 3 wide in Kentucky. Chase Johnson on the outside. Michael Johnson up the middle with Maynard down low. No relation between these two Johnson boys. And if Jonathan Smith don't get it going, can't we see that 4 wide here at the Kentucky Speedway heading through turns 1 and 2. This is the battle for the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place spot here. Tony Cook will lead the charge off the exit of turn 2, the front half of the back. Says down here to turns 3 and 4. Terry Hughes Jr. has got some company rooking out that back bumper of looks like going to be Ty Robertson, Corey Tessner on the march here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You're riding out the front nose of the number 88 Jacksonville Jaguar Chevy Camaro. Get a run all the way up to the front half to the right rear corner panel of Terry Hughes Jr. Is Corey Tessner able to keep his foot down in the gas? You're riding on board with the number 88 who had to jump about the gas. Terry Hughes Jr. will shut off the air to the number 88 of Corey Tessner. The battle continues down the back straightaway headed into turn 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Maynard down on the bottom. Tony Cook upstairs. Michael Johnson will get up out the gas, as well as Chase Johnson. These guys battling it out here for the 9th place spot on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Ty Robertson trying to hold his own here, each his own down on the bottom side of the racetrack. You hear him in and out of the gas. And one of the main things that I heard out of these guys, majority, talking to them earlier tonight, that these guys were just so happy to have the H-pattern gear shift. That was the main topic in the garage. Everybody said they loved and enjoyed the Next Gen Cup Series when we had it here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, but a vote was given to these guys on what they wanted to see here 4 wide at the Kentucky Speedway, off the exit of turns 3 and 4. It looks like they'll get it all settled out here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Nobody giving an inch here tonight. Tessner battling door-to-door with Terry Hughes Jr. for this 2nd place spot. Terry Hughes Jr. up and off the exit here. Looks like they may have started a little too low on the air pressure here for Terry Hughes Jr. He's starting to get tight down on the bottom side of the racetrack. About to lift a little bit earlier than he wants to, and that'll just give him up 2 spots there through turns 3 and 4. But Ty Robertson trying to apply the pressure to the number 88 of Corey Tessner. But James Fallon is sailed away with a race lead here into turns 1 and 2. 24 laps into tonight's Gen-6 Cup Series debut here for Season 2 of the KnappDaddyRacing 150. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take you down on the racetrack here tonight for the night's first Madness Racing League. Fast and loud. Ladies and gentlemen, back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, you're looking down at the fan cam here at the Kentucky Speedway, watching the battle for the 2nd place spot. Corey Tessner starting to go backwards here. Kevin Tanko's reeling him in like a fish, and here comes Jerry Powers, Ty Robertson battling it out there for that 2nd place spot. Looks like Kevin Tanko's sitting in really deep here. And ladies and gentlemen, if you ever want to grab a ticket to the Kentucky Speedway, this is what you're going to see. Getting your money's worth here with 86 laps to go. In the KnappDaddyRacing 150, they'll complete the lap, and look at the momentum given to the outside car of Corey Tessner as he works back around here in the turns 1 and 2. Ladies and gentlemen, race number 1 of a 13-race season. It's going to be one hell of a show all year long. We gladly appreciate everybody tuning in here. We will bring up the remaining schedule here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel as you continue to watch the battle for the 3rd place spot in your background here. Ladies and gentlemen, headed to Charlotte 2 weeks from now. Then over to the Bristol. Tons of old school racetracks here like the Next Gen Cup Series used to go to. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get you right back down here on the main broadcast so you can see exactly what you want to. Corey Tessner gets shipped up the racetrack, gets arrow loose there by the number 88. We're 3 wide in turns 1 and 2. The number 4 of Kevin Tankos gets tied up the racetrack. He'll make contact with the number 88. Trying to side draft his way down the back straightaway. Make sure he has enough room into the entrance of turn 3 and 4. Meanwhile, Jerry Powers sits back here, looks to see what happens right in front of him. These 3 guys 3 wide all the way through the corner. Jerry Powers looking to make it 4 wide here in Kentucky. Holy shit, folks, go grab another beer. Everybody just absolutely going at it here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. James Fountain is checked out to about a 2.3 second race lead here in Sparta, Kentucky, and all the rednecks have probably looked like they went and grabbed another beer. Looks like they're going to go grab some concession stand food here. It looks like things are finally starting to get strung out and settled here. We're still underneath the green flag condition, and there's no other way we would like to have it here tonight in Kentucky. Meanwhile, Colin Cole, Nicholas Maynard, Jonathan Smith starting to work their way back up here on the front half of the racetrack. Blake Koschchild and this number 16 Toyota Camry machine, a backup car after getting spun around in the practice session, was sent it in ass first, and that number 16 crunched in the whole tail end. They had to go replace the rear clip on the number 16. Blake Koschchild said he felt more comfortable just bringing out the backup car here tonight in the Madness Racing League. While we got one turned around as Kevin Tank goes and the caution flag flies. Caution flags down here on the Moody Skew Racing channel for the number 4 of Kevin Tankos and this Budweiser Rush Motorsports Chevy Camaro goes around for the first time here tonight. The caution flag will fly on lap 31. Coming to lap 32. We will back that ass up here for the instant replay. Give me just a moment. I'll get you flipped over to exactly the live cam, exactly what we have going on our screen. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll throw it up here to the blimp cam. Give me just a moment. Not sure. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, see if we can't get a better angle of what happened to Kevin Tankos here on the caution flag here. It looks like he was 3 wide with Jerry Powers, Corey Tessner. Nobody giving an inch here. Jerry Powers gets tagged by Kevin Tankos, ships him hard into the outside safer barrier. And Kevin Tankos will take a major lick there to that outside right rear quarter panel. We will back that ass up one more time. See if we can't ride on board with Kevin Tankos. See if we got actually a little bit of left rear contact from Jerry Powers in this number 57 machine. And wouldn't imagine Jerry Powers meant it if he really did, as Jerry Powers don't seem like that kind of driver. We'll take a look. Contact definitely made. Bang! Hard on the outside safer barrier for Kevin Tankos. And ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Tankos, a 3-time Gen-6 Cup Series winner. He won at the Sonoma Raceway and New Hampshire Speedway and the Indianapolis Brickyard for the Madness Racing League. And that car looks like the right front toe link is absolutely destroyed on it here, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up here on the spotter stamp can. And Jacob Tankos, the younger brother of spotter of Kevin Tankos, will throw his headset down here. They'll have to bring it down onto the garage. We'll be back in just a moment here from the commercial break. Stick it right here. Kevin Tankos gets turned around with 80 laps to go. Welcome back here on the Moody Skew Racing channel, bringing them down onto the pit lane. James Fountain is, and he'll be the leader of the ones coming down. It looks like everybody will follow, unless we get a couple more guys trying to shake and bake it here, trying to throw around the strategy. But it looks like we will have no takers out on the racetrack. Everybody will bring it down on the pit lane to service their race cars. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll gladly appreciate everybody tuning up here. We'll ride around with Jerry Powers. He was involved in the contact there. He says, that is my bad. I apologize here. And ladies and gentlemen, looks like Nicholas Maynard's crew's getting out here on the racetrack, and they're going to do 4 fresh Goodyear tires on this number 02, and they're going to put some brand new Sunoco Racing fuel in here. So ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas Maynard's crew trying to get him up and on off of pit road. But ladies and gentlemen, looks like the battle off pit road. We'll go to Colin Cole here. Look at the rest of the guys. Come on. Ladies and gentlemen, green flag pit stops were almost here, but we'll have to do them underneath the yellow flag. But it looks like Colin Cole will be the first one out on the pit lane, and his guys will do Sunoco Racing fuel only inside of that Chevy Camaro from Lincoln, New Hampshire. And Colin Cole, the Northerner, coming out here tonight to Kentucky, trying to make something shake in this CK number 9 machine. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Smith will round out the second place spot. Give James Fountain and his Viagra boys the third place spot off pit road, with Ty Robertson trying to make something shake in the fourth place spot. Terry Hughes Jr. said he come down on the pit road, felt like maybe something was going sour there. It started to smell a little bit smoke. Just wasn't sure if it was electronical and or was this some of the Goodyear rubber coming off the race car. Corey Tessner rounds out the 6th place spot here. Jonathan Smith, they'll bring it down on the pit lane again here. Looks like they'll forget to, tighten a lug nut here for Jonathan Smith. So he'll come down onto pit lane and have that one resurfaced before we get ready to go back racing. That'll leave Colin Cole, James Fountain on the front row. Ty Robertson, Terry Hughes Jr. rounding out the 2nd row. Nicholas Maynard, Corey Tessner round out the 3rd row with Blake Koschchild. Tony Cook rounding out the 4th row. Jerry Powers, Bobby Kyle will be in your 5th row here on the restart with Chase Johnson and Michael Johnson, the 2 Johnson guys, rounding out the 7th row. Tim Powers, Shane Hughes round out the final row here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel on the restart. We're getting ready to go back racing here in the KnappDaddyRacing 150. Gladly appreciate everybody's tuned in here tonight on a, Wednesday night. You could have done anything else here and you decided to stick it right here with us. The week is almost halfway through. Happy hump day, ladies and gentlemen. If I could ever find me something to go hump these days, I really would, but it's difficult out here. We're not talking about my love life, we're talking about yours. My love is this racing right here. Peter the Base Car getting ready to hang the left down on the pit lane. Colin Cole going to be the race leader here on the restart from Lincoln, New Hampshire, and Colin Cole still looking for that Booty Scoot Racing channel. First win here is the Billy the Blimp driver, continues to sail around up there in the iRacing Blimp Cam, and can only imagine the disco ball party that is going on top of that hot air balloon. Peter the Base Car will hang the left on the pit lane. Cole, Fountain, Hughes, Robertson, Maynard, the top 5 drivers here when we go back racing. Ladies and gentlemen, green flag get ready to fly back in the air here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. For the KnappDaddyRacing 150, it'll be all in the hands of Colin Cole. Green flag is back in the air here in the Bluegrass State. Back up through the gears here, climbing the banking through turns 1 and 2. Cole, Robertson, Tessner, Fountain, the top 4 driver. Everybody ripping up through the gears here. Look at 3 wide up the middle. There is James Fountain, that number 6 machine. Everybody spreading out here on the opening lap. Back at the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Heading back towards the front of the flag stand here, ladies and gentlemen. Give it to Ty Robertson on the brand new rubber here on the restart. He'll be out front here at the Kentucky Speedway trying to run away from Corey Riptide Tessner. Nicholas Maynard, James Fountain battle door to door here for the 3rd and 4th place spot. James Fountain looks like they elected to go for an air pressure adjustment there underneath the pit stop as you see him dragging the banking through turns 1 and 2, trying to work up the pressures on that number 6 machine. It looks like they'll start to go right there, but that is 2 blue ovals going at it here. No reason for the 2 blue ovals to take each other out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys. You can throw a blanket over for the race lead. 3 wide in Kentucky. Maynard looking 3 wide up the middle. He'll make it work. Can he clear Tessner in the 1? Yes, he can. Maynard to the 2nd place spot. Robertson has it all put together here down the back straightaway off of turn 2. Blake Koschchild getting all kinds of whirly back here in the 5th place spot. Ladies and gentlemen, contact made there by Jerry Powers to Blake Koschchild, who ship him up the racetrack there, make a hole for himself. Here comes Chase Johnson looking to plug something down on the bottom side. You're watching the Madness Racing League, KnappDaddyRacing 150, back racing here in Kentucky. Maynard will elect to take the outside here. He'll pit the run on the outside. 3 wide through 2. Maynard gets a huge run off the exit of turn 2. He'll clear Tessner and Robertson for that 2nd place spot. He's looking for the race lead around James Fountain. Fierce battles all throughout the field here. Here comes Bobby Kyle into the picture. Bobby Kyle, a 2-time Gen-6 Cup Series winner here in the Madness Racing League. In his Lucky Strike 777 Engine 4 Coffee Company. KnappDaddyRacing Design Chevy Camaro. Bobby Kyle, 64 years old, getting it done here. And here comes Tony Cook right in front of him. The 2 OGs cutting up here, trying to get going to the front of the pack on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Nicholas Maynard looking for the race lead. I am all out of breath here, folks, trying to call this restart for you. Back home here, 40 laps complete this time around. Fountain trying to play the arrow game here with the 0-2 of Nicholas Maynard. Corey Tessner trying to sag off a little bit here, save a little bit of good here. Rubber Blake Koschchild starting to march his way up through the field right now. He's currently sitting in that hard-charging award position. He's in the 4th place spot, up 12 spots from where he started. Blake Koschchild, ladies and gentlemen, at the start of the broadcast, went ahead and brought it to you. The number 16 Toyota Camry went around in the practice session. They had to replace the whole tail end clip on that number 16 Toyota. So he's in a backup car here tonight. Blake Koschchild said he felt more comfortable going into the backup car than Besides trying to come out here in something special. Meanwhile, Nicholas Maynard's looking to make a move around James Fountain for the race lead. Battle into turn 3. Contacts made into 3. Fountain up the racetrack. Maynard down low. Here comes Tessner trying to make something shake underneath his teammate. That'll give the lead to Nicholas Maynard here as they cross the line side by side. Almost a drag race here at the Kentucky Speedway. And James Fountain isn't done here. James Fountain will not be denied the race lead here from Nicholas Maynard, but Nicholas Maynard will rip it all the way through the top side of turns 1 and 2. It'll be Maynard, Fountain, Tessner, Powers, Hoschchild, the top 5 down the back straightaway into 3. Tessner trying to keep low here and keep Jerry Powers behind him, but not very sure how this one's going to shake out here. Here comes Blake Koschchild. Trying to let the lap times come out here in front of my face. Want to make sure that I'm seeing everything correctly like I think I see it. Maynard out front here off the exit of turn 2, leading some laps at the Kentucky Speedway. And Nicholas Maynard went in the victory lane in the Season 1 Gen-6 Cup Series, but he's got some more trouble down here on the bottom side. James Fountain will shoot it in into turns 3 and 4. They'll be door-to-door off the exit of turns 4. And it's going to be a drag race back here to the line. 43 laps now, 44 complete. But it's Maynard by just a slight nose into turns 1 and 2. Can he clear himself across the front nose of the number 6 of James Fountain? Nicholas Maynard went to the victory lane twice in the Gen-6 Cup Series, once at the Dover Motor Speedway, and then turned around again and won the playoff race to go to the championship race at Homestead. So Nicholas Maynard's got some experience here tonight, but nobody like Blake Koschchild has came to life here recently on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. If you ever checked out the Xfinity Series, the TNA Truck Series, Blake Koschchild has single-handedly turned this Toyota program around. Toyota has dialed up the Paint House boys. They wanted to go Tier 1 with the number 16 here in the Cup Series, but Blake Koschchild insisted to give the program funding to somebody else. They would try to fund as many races as possible here out of the shop of the Paint House number 16 boys. Right now they have brought a piece here, and even though it's a backup car, it's got some speed in it here. Tessner on the top side with Nicholas Maynard trying to make something shake and make it go here in Kentucky. Nicholas Maynard, though, just barely able to make it work across the front nose of James Fountain. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up and moving here tonight at Kentucky. Not an inch is being spared here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel from absolutely anybody. Corey Tessner wants that race lead from the kid of Nicholas Maynard. Can they get the run across the front straightaway? Not quite clear there. Can Nicholas Maynard fight back here? The battle's going to be tough into turns 1 and 2. Tessner down low, Maynard upstairs. Tessner keeps his foot in it though. He'll clear the 0-2 off the exit of turn 2, and Nicholas Maynard's got to try to fight back. Tony Cook moving up through the field here. This number 33 Skull Bandit Chevy Camaro. Tony Cook, one of the OGs here in the Madness Racing League, and he's being plugged underneath by the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr. Terry Hughes Jr. trying to keep it together here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Meanwhile, Tim Powers, Trent Hughes battle it out back here for the 13th place spot. Colin Cole going backwards here, and so is Jonathan Smith trying to save a little bit of rubber. James Fountain looking to come back around that number 0-2 of Nicholas Maynard. The battle for the second place spot is on our way here. Jerry Powers down on the bottom side of the racetrack. He'll make it 3 wide through 3 and 4. Holy shit, folks. This is some of the best Kentucky racing we've ever seen here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. James Fountain, Jerry Powers, door-to-door into turn 1. Fountain's just got a better turn 1 and 2 than Jerry Powers, but Jerry Powers will get the better of him that time. Down the back straightaway here comes Tessner. Ladies and gentlemen, apologize here for the inconveniences of my voice cutting out here. Been battling a little bit of a sore throat, a little bit of an achy throat here, and screaming and yelling here. This action-packed racing does not help it out. So I apologize there if I cut in and out, but we will be bringing you all the action here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We're 50 laps into tonight's main event. 60 laps to go here tonight in Kentucky. We'll throw you back down there on the racetrack here for the night's Madness Racing Leagues. Fast and loud, I go wet my whistle. We'll be right back. Look at this battle right here for the 8th place spot. Ladies and gentlemen, back up here in the booth. We appreciate that. 61 laps to go here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Jerry Powers, you look up here in the spotter stands live and looking down at the Kentucky Speedway, a not abandoned racetrack. And if you were to ever go on the YouTube and ever look up Kentucky Speedway, that's all the videos you'll ever find is about Kentucky Speedway being an abandoned NASCAR track, and it is far from being abandoned. Nicholas Maynard's worked his way back up here into the pack. We'll give a shot to the back bumper there of Jerry Powers, who's battling door to door with Ty Robertson for the 2nd place spot. Corey Tessner is just watching the mayhem fold out behind that number 88 Jacksonville Jaguars Chevy Camaro. Corey Tessner's got a solid piece here tonight, this number 88. But Jerry Powers will not be denied here in Kentucky. He'll be down on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to make something shake. I believe the last time we came here to the Kentucky Speedway in the TNA Truck Series, seen Chase Johnson go to victory lane that night. Can Chase Johnson get this number 1 STI Johnson Chevy Camaro back out front here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel? We talked with Chase Johnson in the garage before we took the green flag here tonight. Chase Johnson, the Season 1 champion. Whoa, Nicholas Maynard to get big time loose there and try to make a move down here on the bottom side of the racetrack. Chase Johnson will just roll right beside him. This number 1 STI Johnson back up the car. Looks like it's starting to come to life here on the long run. Does he save a little bit more Goodyear rubber than everybody else? Meanwhile, Ty Robertson looking to get around Corey Riptide Tessner for the race lead. The battle back here into the first turn 1. Somebody will slap that outside safer barrier there. Probably this battle right here. These 3 lunatics going at it. Blake Hochschild, Nicholas Maynard, and Chase Johnson. This is only the battle for the 3rd and 4th place spot, folks. These guys are, again, not going to give an inch to each other all night long. Seen James Fountain try to work around Nicholas Maynard earlier there, sent him backwards in dirty air. James Fountain says, I'm just trying to save a little bit of rubber here on this number 6 machine. We got a long way to go. They're telling James Fountain to go, 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 go. He's starting to cut up the back heat. He'll start to cut up the heat here and turn up the pace in just a moment. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. came down there underneath that last caution flag. They took a half-pound of air pressure out the left rear of the number 81 Peak Coolant and antifreeze Ford Mustang. Terry Hughes Jr. says, when we come back down, redo that and come back to the original adjustment. I do not like the way that this car feels right now. Super duper tight down on the bottom side through 3 and 4. I'm able to hold it open wide open through turns 1 and 2, but I'm just sawing at the wheel. Ty Robertson will not let Corey Tessner have it away here tonight in Kentucky. Tessner on the outside, Robertson down on the bottom side. 288s go at it here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and Jerry Powers has something to say about it. He's down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Head on over to HendrickCars.com. Go grab you a used car today to go find you what you want, exactly how you like it. Tessner knows going to fight back here on the outside. Tessner will not be denied here in Kentucky Speedway. He'll go even lower into turns 1 and 2. Make Ty Robertson stay honest on that bottom lane. But Maynard will work the outside safer barrier there, back there battling door to door with Jonathan Smith. These guys are really starting to tangle up here, and the next thing you know, we'll be battling 3, 4, maybe 5 wide for the race lead. Tessner, though, has found something upstairs through turns 3 and 4 that Ty Robertson just can't seem to beat the momentum back to off the exit of 4. They had it back across the front straightaway here. You got the Rester Tessner, the race leader that last time around. We're less than halfway to go this time around on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and Ty Robertson back down on the bottom side of the racetrack trying to plug the hole that isn't there. Tessner then will go wide off 2. That has opened up the door here for the race team owner of Chase Johnson. Chase Johnson, the owner of this number 88 machine right in front of him, it's Corey Tessner. How will he watch his guys continue to race it out here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel? James Fountain, part-time in season 1, won at the Talladega Super Speedway, but didn't run for the full series point standings in season 1 of the Gen-6 Cup Series. He's looking to start here tonight and work his way up to the front half of the pack. James Fountain, though, here in the Cup Series has stepped away from Chase Johnson Racing to do his own little funding program here. I heard that James Fountain went and did some kind of photo shoot for OnlyFans, got a Viagra sponsorship, and it was enough to pay for the whole 13-race schedule here for the Gen-6 Cup Series. James Fountain, though, comes and transfers to the Ford program. That was the only way that he was able to get some more funding here to get some chassis to put into the race shop to be able to come out here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Meanwhile, guys like Jerry Powers just went to victory lane Saturday night at the Bristol Motor Speedway in the Xfinity Series with his wife and kids there at the track. Jerry Powers brought them back here tonight in Kentucky. He says they are good luck charms when they are here. He's got this thing absolutely hooked up through turns 3 and 4. Contact for the race lead. Tessner on the outside. Robertson on the inside. Tessner will get a little bit of momentum back. Look at his battle for the race lead, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, not an inch is going to be spared here tonight between each and every single one of these drivers. The playoffs way on down the road here. We're talking 2026, but you won't even be able to tell here tonight. Pack racing at Kentucky. It has been one hell of a showing. And ladies and gentlemen, we all got to thank that to the great iRacing platform that you're watching right here on your screen. Updating the setups continuously, though, even though the Gen-6 Cup car is in the official car. Johnson gets one hell of a run. Can he make it for the race lead? Blake Hochschild radio in to his team right now. We are hearing, folks, green flag pit stops right around the corner if we can continue to keep it green. In the way that these guys have been going at it all night long, I would imagine there's a single inch of rubber left on nobody's tires here tonight. Meanwhile, Jonathan Smith working his way back up through the field. He's in the 15th place spot coming off the exit turn 2 by himself. You're up here in the spotter stand getting the same angle as Jonathan Smith. Spotter Baker Knapp is telling Jonathan here to try to save. You gotta go, though. The race leader is entering turn 3 now. Ty Robertson in jeopardy of putting one of these guys a lap down underneath the green flag condition. Some amazing racing here tonight for the Gen-6 Cup Series. It has not been disappointed here tonight. We've had 5 different race leaders. 2 of these guys right here on your screen. All three of these guys have led laps here tonight at Kentucky Speedway. Corey Tessner trying to find a rhythm, run back down the number 88 of Ty Robertson. Meanwhile, though, here comes the number 4 of Kevin Tanko's back out on the racetrack here. Looks like they've patched up this number 4 machine just enough to get him up and going. Kevin Tanko is just going to try to complete the laps here tonight and score as many points as possible here for the Gen-6 Cup Series season opener, as you never know what could happen here. With 66 laps complete out of the schedule, 110 will have 2 laps in the bank for the overtime if we need them. James Fountain battling back here with Nicholas Maynard once again. We've seen these 2 guys already go at it twice here tonight. Maynard got the best of Fountain earlier. Fountain getting the better of Maynard right now down the back straightaway here in Kentucky. Tim Powers comes in here tonight in his number 45 machine from Newark, New Jersey. And ladies and gentlemen, Tim Powers needing a little bit more funding here from the Chevy program. The problem, talking to Tim Powers in the garage area, Tim Powers says with there being 6-7 Chevy teams out here in the Madness Racing League, he was last in on the Chevy tier program. So he's totally been out here on his knees and turning wrenches and trying to get this thing put back together. Tim Powers says they have tons of track time scheduled here for testing in the following weeks in the Madness Racing League, and they'll continue to beat and bang at this 45 U.S. Coast Guard program all season long. Right now, though, Tim Powers riding around in the 12th place spot trying to make something shake. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get our first green flag pit stop here tonight from the number 40 of Michael Johnson and the Red Bull number 40. Michael Johnson complaining of a little bit of a loose condition through turns 1 and 2, but it absolutely needs to be freed up for 3 and 4. They'll pack in a little bit of a packer here and some air pressure adjustment. Here comes Colin Cole from Lincoln, New Hampshire, and then number 9, CK Chevy Camaro. He'll bring his machine down on the pit road. He's looking for 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel, and a half wedge adjustment out the back end. Meanwhile, Corey Riptide Tessner still trying to go run down the race leader, but he's got lap traffic all in front of him. Kevin Tankos has gotten passed by Ty Robertson for another lap underneath the green flag conditions. This has opened up this green flag pit cycle stop tremendously right here. James Bow and Nicholas Maynard going at it back here for the 6th place spot. Maynard upstairs, Bow down low. Here comes Chase Johnson down on the pit lane. He'll come and service this number 1 machine. That'll bring down Corey Tessner and Nicholas Maynard on the pit road. Corey Riptide Tessner says the race car feels absolutely good right now. 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel. Do not touch this race car. Chase Johnson complaining a little bit of a snug condition into turns 1 and 2. The season 1 champion says, if you want me to be able to go, you're going to have to free it up. 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel and 4 fresh tires. Nicholas Maynard's Scrooge hops the wall right here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel to jack up the race car. Nicholas Maynard complaining a little bit of a tight condition, but the car's really fast. They've led 12 laps here tonight. They have the fastest lap turn so far. 4 tires and 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel for the kid of Nicholas Maynard. Here comes Ty Robertson down on the pit road from the race lead. He'll grab 4 sets of tires. 4 tires and 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel. The car feels absolutely amazing. Meanwhile, Tim Power brings it down on the pit road. He'll service his number 45 machine. Bobby Kyle, Tony Cook come down here. One of these guys will take no tires, Sunoco Racing fuel only. Jonathan Smith taking 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel. Trent Hughes pulls down to his box. He'll grab brand new 4 Goodyear rubber. And here comes James Fountain down from the race lead. He'll pull it on the pit lane. James Fountain pulling here, trying to get 4 fresh Goodyear rubber. Ty Robertson will win the battle off pit road over Jerry Powers. James Fountain a little bit slow there on the right rear. They were able to drop the jack though, but that'll hurt big time. That'll give Terry Hughes Jr. the race lead, but Terry Hughes Jr. will call it quits. He'll bring it down on the pit road. 4 tires, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel for the Peak Coolant and a Freeze Ford Mustang, and he'll service this number 81 machine down at his number 1 pit box for winning the pole here tonight. Terry Hughes Jr. get it up and off of pit road, get back out front. Chase Johnson already been down on the pit road and serviced this Chevy Camaro. He'll bring it across the line and he'll redeem the cycle, the race lead through the green flag pit cycle. James Fountain and the rest of these boys got some work to do, but Chase Johnson taking no Goodyear rubber, 2 cans of Sunoco Racing fuel only, and that'll leave Ty Robertson try to run it down. Holy shit, folks, coming back here, ladies and gentlemen, for the instant replay. Mayhem has struck here on the front straightaway underneath the, commercial break, whatever. I was just trying to catch my breath and get a sip of something to drink, grab another beer, and 3 wide across the front stretch will end in disaster. Corey Tessner tore up. Jerry Powers tore up. Trent Hughes tore up. Holy shit. What just took place here at the Kentucky Speedway? We seen Corey Tessner, Nicholas Maynard battling it out here. This was the battle off of pit road. Nicholas Maynard, Corey Tessner for the 3rd place spot. This is underneath the green flag pit conditions. Maynard trying to make something shake around Tessner. Trent Hughes was right in front of him, though. This should give us the angle, the look that we were looking for. Maynard down low. Trent Hughes up top, Tessner in the middle, 3 wide across the front straightaway. Plenty of room on the bottom. And it looks like the 18 and the number 88 make contact. Ships Corey Tessner hard on the outside, safer barrier. That'll send Trent Hughes down here on the bottom side of the racetrack. Jerry Powers has nowhere to go. He runs right into The number 18 of Trent Hughes will back that ass up one more time and take a look here and see if we can't ride out the front nose of somebody and try to get a look and see exactly what just took place. Maybe Jerry Powers will have the look that we are looking for. Hard in the outside, safer barrier right in front of him, trying to get on the brake. One car coming down in front of him, and the other one drives right back in front of the racetrack here to Jerry Powers. Spins him around on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. We'll back it up one more time, and Michael Johnson looked like he got collected as well. No fortunate wrongdoing of his own. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll back it up here. Take a look here as mayhem ensues on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Nicholas Maynard, Corey Tessner, Jerry Powers involved in the accident. Several guys involved here on the accident on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Michael Johnson able to get it up and refire. Terry Hughes Jr. is able to get through it right there. Michael Johnson will have to take it down the pit road and service this race car. Corey Tessner stuck here in the middle of turns 1 and 2. He'll climb out of that race car. He's not going to be happy with the way that he was just raced right there, and neither will the rest of these guys. Working our way through the green flag pit stop cycle. Looks like everybody was able to work their way back onto the lead lap besides Colin Cole here from New Hampshire, but it looks like he was just involved in the accident. Got a little bit of damage. He'll be the lucky dog this time around on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. They'll catch Peter the base car. Chase Johnson, the race leader here through the green flag pit cycles. Robertson, Maynard, the top 3.
Everything they steal your fate every day, but you can't believe it. Take yourself far away from nothingness, million miles from emptiness. Suffocate everything and complicate everything. They steal your fate every day, but you can't believe it. Take yourself far away from nothingness, million miles from emptiness. Remember the days of the innocence before it came in waves. Remember the trouble.
Welcome back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the KnappDaddyRacing Designs Gen-6 Cup Series for the Madness Racing League. This is the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150 coming on board here for the Madness Racing League Gen-6 Cup Series. We have a couple guys bringing it out on the pit road. Chase Johnson will be the leader here with Ty Robertson, Blake Koschall, Terry Hughes Jr. And we didn't even get a listen here to see what some of these guys were going to do, so we'll have to watch closely. Chase Johnson will bring his guys down on the pit road. He'll grab those 4 sets of Goodyear tires now instead of what he did before, so the green flag pit stop will work quite well indeed, exactly how Chase Johnson and his crew expected it to. And what I mean by that is Chase Johnson and them were able to grab no fresh rubber there, only Sunoco Racing fuel, get out to the race lead through the green flag pit cycle. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, they're able to come down here with the race lead with 4 brand new Goodyear rubbers. We'll see how things shake out here. That's going to leave the kid of Nicholas Maynard on the pole here. And his Maynard Motor 02 Ford Mustang. We're getting ready to go back racing here momentarily. He'll stay out on the racetrack with James Fountain. This number 6 Viagra Ford Mustang with Ty Robertson. Going down there on the pit road, so James Fountain, Nicholas Maynard will be the only 2 cars out on the racetrack. And it looks like Kevin Tankos will not get the wave around this time around. He will still be registered 16 laps down. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Madness Racing League Gen-6 Cup Series KnappDaddyRacing 150 live here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway in Sparta, Kentucky. We're underneath the caution flag for the 4th time here tonight, and ladies and gentlemen, just can't begin to thank everybody that has showed up here tonight and showed out, ladies and gentlemen, sold out here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. Saw a lot of you guys out there in the fan zone trying to copy your favorite shirt, hat, sticker, banners. I mean, you name it. It is out there for you folks. Ladies and gentlemen, head on over to KnappDaddyRacingDesign.com and go grab you an iRacing paint scheme. Ladies and gentlemen, throw you the Madness Racing League on and tell them they sent you for 20% off if you're full-time here in the Madness Racing League. But you must be signed up racing on the season for the promo code. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy the Bump driver still working his way around the Kentucky Speedway up there, and I can only imagine he's probably falling asleep and he'll be drifting off into the abyss before you know it. The kid of Nicholas Maynard will have the race lead here when we go racing with James Fountain on the outside. We see these 2 guys battle it out earlier tonight for the race lead. Both of these guys being really respectful, though. Wasn't much contact made between neither party, James Fallon, Ty Robertson, Blake Hochschild, Tony Cook will be the top 5 drivers here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Headed towards your living room down the back straightaway. The lights are off on top of the pit car, and it will take the left on the pit lane. Looks like we got a couple more guys reaching the back half of the pack. That'll be Corey Tesner. Trent Hughes, excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, 77 laps will be complete when we go back racing this time around. Nicholas Maynard, James Fallon on the front row. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stand up, clap those hands, stomp those feet. We're getting ready to go back racing here at the Kentucky Speedway. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stick around after tonight for the post-race show. We'll have all your remaining schedule, ladies and gentlemen, and show you everything that you would possibly know. Get ready to shake and bake. We're back racing here in the Bluegrass State. Back up through the gears here. Nicholas Maynard has the race lead. Ty Robertson down low on the bottom side of the number 88 machine. James Fallon looking to come back here on the outside. He's able to get his foot down to the gas. Can he beat the number 88 though? Back to where he was at. Looks like he will. He'll get to the back bumper of the number 02. Nicholas Maynard, contact's made. And Maynard's down on the bottom side of the racetrack through turns 3 and 4. We're back racing here at 77, going to be 78 laps complete this time around on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. This is the KnappDaddyRacing Cup Series for the Madness Racing League, and you guys are absolutely going at it here. Ty Robertson looks like he'll lift up out of the gas, trying to save a little bit of Goodyear rubber, and the battle for the race lead is on between James Fallon and the kid of Nicholas Maynard. He's got a little bit of damage on the back end of that number 02 Ford Mustang. Will it play any effect here tonight? Here comes this No Lone Star Toyota Camry here tonight in the field of Blake Hochschild. Blake Hochschild, the only guy out here currently right now. I'm not saying that we won't have any in the future come on board here in the Toyota program. Blake Hochschild wrecked this car in practice, had to grab the backup car, and that's why you see no sponsors on the number 16 Toyota Camry. Blake Hochschild, also one of these drivers having some funding issues coming out of the garage. Blake Hochschild had to come to the Madness Racing League admin tonight. The Madness Racing League admin bought 4 fresh Goodyear tires for Blake Hochschild to be able to participate here after wrecking his car in the practice session. So Blake Hochschild still looking for somebody to come on board and sponsor the whole season. We're up and moving here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, and Terry Hughes Jr. started on the pole here tonight in this number 81 Peak Antifreeze Ford Mustang from Troy, Alabama. Win or lose, he's drinking booze, and right now he's trying to work his way up to the front half of the pack, currently running in the 7th place spot. Corey Tesner has climbed out of that race car down there on pit lane. Looks like James Fallon has gotten around Nicholas Maynard for the race lead. Single file up the exit of turn 3 and 4. Fallon, Maynard, Hochschild took the top 4. Got a favorite driver, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you stand up. But here comes Tony Cook. Where did he come from? Tony Cook has flown out of a hat here on the back half of the race. About 40 laps to go. And the old timer comes showing his nose up here in the front half of the pack. He's in the 4th place spot here. Tony Cook asked for a wedge adjustment coming down on the previous caution flag. They'll throw a little bit of tape on that number 33 Skull Machine. And he looks like he's turning a little bit better than he was before. Blake Hochschild trying to leave a lane and not block off the number 33's air. Tony Cook will get the run to that right rear quarter panel. Will he make a move into turn 3? Hochschild will elect the block down into turns 3 and 4. Maynard gets moved up the racetrack. That sees James Fallon sail away with a race lead here with less than 40 laps to go. We're racing here for the win, possibly at the Kentucky Speedway in the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150 here in Kentucky, ladies and gentlemen. Side by side for the 2nd place spot. Hochschild downstairs in the basement. Maynard goes upstairs. Tony Cook looking to plug a hole if he can. He's looking for it up the middle through 3 and 4. Chase Johnson, Ty Robertson lurking back here on brand new Goodyear rubbers. Are they trying to save a little bit of something here on the back half of the field? How many of these guys have saved that final set of Goodyear rubber for the back half of tonight's finish? If we've seen that happen several times in season 1, guys like Kevin Tangos and other guys that we had in the league saving those rubber to the end. Maynard trying to break the draft with Tony Cook down the back straightaway, but Tony Cook will change lanes back into turns 3 and 4. That'll get Blake Hochschild real tight through 3 and 4, but it looks like everybody's found something upstairs. We have slowly worked our way up off that bottom side through 3 and 4. We talked about it in tonight's keys of the race. How many of these guys are going to be able to get up there on that outside pack? Look at this battle right here between these pack of cars. Ladies and gentlemen, can throw a blanket over for the third, fourth place spot. Yeah, third and fourth place spot. Ladies and gentlemen, I am trying my heart out here tonight. I feel like I'm about to puke any second with the long breath, hiccup, or anything here with the way that I'm running myself out of breath, and my throat is killing me. But I appreciate you guys sticking around here, making us have a show here tonight. Maynard on the bottom, Hughes upstairs, trying to make something shake for that 8th place spot. Excuse me, that's the battle for the 5th place spot between Terry Hughes Jr. Nicholas Maynard. Whoa, Maynard tied on the racetrack right there. Bobby Kyle going to make something shake in between the 0-2 and the number 88 machine. Bobby Kyle, two-time winner here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. Gen-6 Cup Series, went to victory lane at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, won it on fuel mileage. Bobby Kyle credited his age that day in victory lane to the reason he went to and got that trophy that night. And we asked Bobby Kyle, what does your age have to do with you winning and going to races? Bobby Kyle said, well, it's simple. I'm on the older side of things, so I don't go 200 miles an hour. He takes it nice, steady, slow, and easy. That day, slow, steady, and easy, saved enough fuel for the number 777 of Bobby Kyle. Locked him into the playoffs in the Madness Racing League, and he had one hell of a season in Season 1. Meanwhile, look at this battle for the 3rd place spot. Tony Cook has got all the way up here to the 3rd place spot, and now he's underneath a battle here with Chase Johnson. These two guys not separating each other here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel. One of the final races that the NASCAR's Cup Series went and had here was in 2019 and 2020. With 2020, the COVID year being the final race, saw Cole Custer win on a green-white checker overtime battle with Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, several guys like that in the NASCAR Cup Series. And if you remember 2019, the battle of the Bushes, Kurt Busch versus Kyle Busch, side by side all the way around the racetrack on a green-white checker. This racetrack opens up tons of opportunity for passing, moving up through the field, being able to do all those great things. Meanwhile, Terry Hughes Jr. started on the pole here tonight, his first in the Cup Series on Season 3. He'll win the first one here on the year. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Hughes Jr. switching back over to the Ford program for the Cup Series for 81X iRacing. Said his little brother was starting to run the Cup Series program into the ground. He'll come back over and take over the financials. He's trying to collect a little bit of data here tonight for the Gen-6 Cup Series. Terry Hughes Jr. started on the pole, went back 5 spots at the beginning of the race after a little bit of contact there, got a little bit loose through the strategy. Now he's worked his way back up here to the top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150 live here from the Kentucky Speedway that sees James Fountain leading them down into turns 3 and 4. And that Viagra number 6 car is driving hard, if you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. I don't need any Viagra. I'm one of those kind of guys. I am just on command with it, Red Rocket style. Ladies and gentlemen, meanwhile, excuse me, Blake Hochschild, who laughs at their own jokes. I am one fool up here in this booth. Blake Hochschild in his Toyota Camry machine has gotten up to the 2nd place spot, led laps in the DNA Truck Series on Friday night at the Texas Motor Speedway, and almost turned around and almost had one in the bag at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Just was looking for a little bit more different things to shake out that night on Saturday night. Right now, though, he's battling door to door for the 2nd place spot with the Season 1 champion of Chase Johnson down on the bottom side of the racetrack. But position gain, position lose for Blake Hochschild. He is still up 14 spots from where he started, and he is currently sitting in that Hard Charger Award. Blake Hochschild is a 4-time Hard Charger Award in the Madness Racing League. So is this some kind of strategy plan that comes out of this Toyota program for the Paint House boys, where they run it long on the long run, on the long run strategy on the green flag pit stops? They also, save sets of tires. But look at this shenanigan right here. The Hard Charger Award, starting in the back and working your way up through the front, letting everybody else do the damage to themselves. That seems to be the key here for the number 16 Toyota Camry. James Bowden in full control here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway, and he didn't bring no Kentucky Fried Chicken. He brought a bad, fast race car to the track here tonight, and he's just slowly trying to piece it together, though. James Bowden says he's starting to feel a small vibration out the right rear of this number 6 Viagra car. They're telling him, do not think about it. Chase Johnson is right on your tail. Drive the race car exactly how you would any other time. Ty Robertson, Blake Hochschild, door to door here. And ladies and gentlemen, Blake Hochschild will lose that spot to Ty Robertson off the turn 2, and he'll fight back down the back straightaway. Tony Cook is up here in the 6th place spot with Jerry Powers, Nicholas Maynard. That'll be the next 3 cars in line, followed by Bobby Kyle, Jonathan Smith, battling it out here with 18 laps to go on the night's Booty Scoot Racing channel. Slowly marching down the laps here on the Kentucky Speedway. The battle for the race lead is on. Chase Johnson looking to get around James Bowden. He'll put the gas down through 1 and 2. And Chase Johnson has the race lead off the exit of turn 2, headed down the back straightaway here in Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, battle for the race lead in Kentucky with less than 20 laps to go. We'll throw you down on the racetrack for tonight's final Madness Racing League Fast and Loud here from Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here to the Madness Racing League Gen-6 Cup Series KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150 live here at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Fans are getting their money's worth here tonight in Sparta, Kentucky. 12 laps to go. This time around on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, Chase Johnson has the race lead across the line with Ty Robertson, James Bowden, Terry Hughes Jr., Blake Hochschild rounding out the top 5. This is the battle for possibly the race win. You never know what could happen here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 Chevy bow ties, 2 blue ovals, and a Toyota Camry all riding together right here in a line, trying to win tonight's event on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. You could throw a hat and a blanket over these top 5 drivers. Ty Robertson has slowly ran down this number 1 of Chase Johnson, and that's the battle for the race lead. James Bowden has this 3rd place spot with Terry Hughes Jr., Blake Hochschild right behind him on his tail. Terry Hughes Jr., Blake Hochschild, never been to victory lane before on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. A win here tonight could work magical miracles for these 2 programs. Blake Hochschild, the only sole Toyota Camry in the field here tonight, working his way off turns 3 and 4. He'll have the race lead and come across the line. Ty Robertson will have to hold off as Chase Johnson continues to pick off the final laps here in tonight's Gen-6 Cup race opener tonight for the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150. Chase Johnson has the race lead off 2. Chase Johnson, the Season 1 champion, back out front here with single digits to go. 9 laps to go this time around on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Chase Johnson, the number 1 machine, in a backup car from the practice session. They had to bring it off of the hauler. Chase Johnson backed it in to the outside safer barrier during practice. They unloaded the number 1 machine. They put the exact same setup inside of this number 1 STI Johnson Chevy Camaro, and he has brought it to life. Looks like he's just a tad bit better than Ty Robertson through turns 3 and 4. That's been the struggling point here tonight for a lot of these drivers on the back half of the field. Meanwhile, look at this little battle we got going on right here between Tony Cook and Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith will pull up Nerf bar. Oh, right there. Trying to nerf Tony Cook's air is what I was going to say to that right rear corner panel, but never mind. A little bit of 2-for-1 special for Rush Motorsports to get around Tony Cook. Jerry Powers is over in front of Nicholas Maynard in this number 02 machine. This is the battle for the Gen-6, 7th, and 8th place spot. 7 laps to go here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. And listening to the radio underneath that fast and loud, Nicholas Maynard told his group that it looks like he's being told by his group, that it looks like they are going to be short on Sunoco Racing fuel to get themselves to the end here, trying to run and stay out on that race lead. So Nicholas Maynard, how will he save some fuel here to get to the end? We'll have to figure it all out, but the battle for the race lead starting to dissipate here. Chase Johnson starting to pull back away from Ty Robertson here in Kentucky. James Fallon door-to-door now with Terry Hughes Jr. Looks like he slapped that outside safer barrier. Whoa, contact's made. James Fallon onto the outside wall. Contact's made and the caution flag flies. Holy shit, folks. James Fallon parks it backwards here like a protester of the turns 1 and 2. That's a hard shot with the outside safer barrier for the number 6 of Viagra. And you want to talk about hard. That was a hard shot right there. Both of these guys are almost an identical matching paint schemes. One with Viagra, one with Peak Antifreeze coolant. James Fallon takes a huge shot into turns 1 and 2. We'll take a look here. Looks like he come down off the safer barrier, hits Terry Hughes Jr. And round and around and around like a broken record for James Fallon in turns 1 and 2. He has to let down that safer barrier. That safety net on that race car to let the track workers know that he was currently okay. But right now, though, James Fallon taking a huge shot. We'll take a look. James Fallon goes around here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel hard into the outside safer barrier. We'll ride around one more time with the number the number 6 of James Fallon and his Viagra machine as he gets left rear hooked after hitting the outside wall. And we apologize to you folks who have vertigo. That is not the kind of sight that you are wanting to see there, ladies and gentlemen. The number 6 of James Fallon. May look like he has his head down in there. Is he going to be okay? James Fallon. Whoa, almost put down into traffic. James Fallon, though, we'll have to get it up and going. We'll catch behind the pace car. We're headed to overtime here in Kentucky. Chase Johnson out front here in the Bluegrass State for the KnappDaddyRacing 150. Back in just a moment. Welcome back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, presented to you by KnappDaddyRacing Designs, the KnappDaddyRacing KDR Gen-6 Cup Series for the Madness Racing on our way here tonight. Make sure you go check out KnappDaddyRacingDesigns.com. Ladies and gentlemen, head on over to Maccabee Auto Services, LLC, established in 2023. Preventative maintenance, brake services, suspension repairs, transmission services, engine, repairs, custom installs, and much, much more. Call them today, 864-256-1346 for a free estimate. Thirsty, want a hot dog? Head on over to the Home Run Cafe at 4 Mill Street in Inman, South Carolina, 29349 at 864-561-6955 today. Kid need a brand new ball bat, brand new glove. I've been there. I've been a baseball player myself, long time. Check out Closeout Bats. Save on brand new bats, deals, and demos. Walk-in hours. Go check them out there on the front door on their website page at www.closeoutbats.com. 201-664-4916. Back down here on the main broadcast cam for the Gen-6 Cup Series Season 3 debut here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel for the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150. The fish caution flag here tonight for all of these drivers and ladies and gentlemen. It is getting ready to get messy, I would think. Several guys have elected to stay out on old rubber here with no other choice. They have no more sets of Goodyear rubber playing here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not strapped in, do not have a beer, do not have a cigarette, or something to hold on to, things are getting ready to get wild here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring you down to the keys of the race here tonight. Keeping it clean, saving those Goodyear rubbers, and managing turns 3 and 4 with that pit road entry. Ladies and gentlemen, with several guys on brand new rubber this time around, coming from the back half of the field, are they going to be able to get through the traffic here, and can everybody do that first key? Keep it clean. Ladies and gentlemen, Chase Johnson, the Season 1 champion here in the Gen-6 Cup Series, back out front here with a chance to win it at Kentucky in his number 1 STI Johnson Chevy. On the outside of him will be the number 88 Exalta machine of Ty Robertson from Coleman, Alabama. Ty Robertson looking for his first Gen-6 Cup Series win here in Season 3, his first one ever in the Madness Racing League for the Gen-6 Cup Series. Terry Hughes Jr. never been to victory lane before on the Booty Scoot Racing channel in any series. Right now is a chance for history for this 81XI Racing Ford Mustang program. He'll restart in the 3rd place spot. And on the outside of him, he's going to have to take it from Blake Hochschild from Santan Valley, Arizona. Blake Hochschild never won a Madness Racing League race before. 2 hungry guys fill out this second row with a chance at back bumpers of 2 guys that have already won races. Ladies and gentlemen, anything can happen. You're getting ready to watch the overtime. Green, white, checkered style here in Kentucky. If the white flag comes out and they catch it and they wreck, the caution flag will not be thrown. If they wreck before the white flag, we will re-wreck him for one more time here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Green flag is in the air here for the overtime in the Bluegrass State. 3 wide back here, mid-pack, ladies and gentlemen. Going to be a green-white checker ripping up through the gears here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Boehner powers Bane doors through turn 1 and 2. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Colin Cole on that number 9 black machine down on the bottom side. He's got 4 fresh Goodyear tires. And so does Jonathan Smith in his Red Bull machine. But how does everybody elect to play off the exit of turns 3 and 4? Skedaddle like roaches through 3 and 4, 3, 4, 5 line off the exit of turn 4. White flag is in the air, presented by AFLGlobal.com. Chase Johnson on the middle side. He'll have the race lead with a white flag. 3 wide. This is going to be mayhem. Contacts made up the racetrack. Colin Cole sends Terry Hughes Jr. Nicholas Maynard trying to plug the hole. Here comes Bobby Kyle up the middle down the back straightaway. White flag and checker flag is on the other end of the racetrack. Chase Johnson's got one more chance to hold it off. Colin Cole. Colin Cole holds down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Contacts made. Blake Hochschild goes around. Ladies and gentlemen, they'll come across the line, and it's going to be Colin Cole winning the race here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Holy shit, folks. Mayhem there at the end of tonight's race on the Booty Scoot Racing channel on the restart. Terry Hughes Jr. now showing his displeasure with the race winner of Colin Cole, shipping him up the racetrack there. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. Mayhem here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel at the Kentucky Speedway. And We are being told by the admin that it is the unofficial result. Right now, there is no current race winner. The official finish is under review here tonight in the Madness Racing League per the Booty Scoot Racing channel right here. Ladies and gentlemen, every single one of these drivers are going crazy in my ear right now with the admin. They are being called down on the pit lane by the admin. Looks like there's going to be a stern talking to here, but the unofficial result has not shown Colin Cole as the race winner yet. He'll come and park it on the front straightaway. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in just a moment. Mayhem ensued here at the Gen-6 Cup Series season opener for the KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150. Colin Cole awaiting his fate here on the front straightaway from the admin. Back in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Mayhem has just ensued here at the end of the KnappDaddyRacing 150 for the debut of the Madness Racing League Gen-6 Cup Series Season 3. Holy shit, folks. We'll bring up the final results as of right now. We're still listening from the admin here. Things are being looked over after some intentional aggressive driving there on the white flag from several drivers. Led to some guys going around there, some guys getting wrecked. And ladies and gentlemen, we are still waiting for the official results here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. And there they are, folks. We are hearing it in our ear. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Colin Cole disqualified here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. For the main broadcast, well, give me 1 second. We will get this all situated up for you, folks. That is my apologies. Get all this situated. Did not mean to flip that over so where you guys could not see it, folks. I apologize. So we are hearing from the admin as we are currently waiting. Let me get this flip back over. Apologize, folks. Hearing from the admin right now that Colin Cole is being disqualified for aggressive driving, and he will not be the race winner here tonight. And it looks like they have turned around 2 guys on that white flag, and just still briefly awaiting from the admin on the official results on why he was disqualified. But that'll leave, I'm being told by the admin, of Jonathan Smith as the race winner here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. And we'll see if we can't go ahead and get these overlays reloaded up for you folks. We apologize here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Several guys involved in accidents here, and Jonathan Smith goes to victory lane here tonight. Let's see if we ain't got a pit reporter down there with them. We'll cut the music down from the DJ. Things already always start to go to hell at the end of these races, even our overlays. Ladies and gentlemen, our pit reporter, do you have a copy with, I'm assuming, going to be the race winner of Jonathan Smith, correct? Go ahead. Oh, my apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we have lost contact there with our pit road reporter. Give me one moment. Nope, there he goes. Okay.
KnappDaddyRacing.com 150 here at the Kentucky Speedway, and controversial up there in the booth. We are now hearing from the admin that the number 13 of Jonathan Smith here is the race winner at the Kentucky Speedway. Jonathan, we'll right down here get a copy and see if you got a copy with us. Jonathan, just kind of walk us through your race here tonight at the Kentucky Speedway. Coming from the back half of the pack there, put on 4 fresh tires, played the strategy right, the cost flag that you needed, and looks like you'll have to await your fate here, but we'll take it how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I start off, I don't like winning a race that way. I mean, I feel like I would have had a good shot at it anyways. We had a weird block from the 33 car that came down on me. I mean, he's just back for position, but we were there clearly in the front stretch, and it really slowed the drive. But yeah, saving tires all night. Was kind of planning for a caution at lap 95 to 100, and got really surprised when it happened a bit later. But figured with those two sets, that we were one set we had left, we could run it to the front pretty easy in about a lap. But yeah, just kind of doing a long game, playing it slow, and get to the front, working my spotter, Hunter Follow up there. He's actually going to start driving in this league soon. I'm going to switch to the spotter booth. It'll be a nice little change, and I get to see things from a different perspective. But big shout out to sponsors, Engine Port Coffee, 811 Racing, KnappDaddyRacing as well, SSR Designs, to throw them in there now. But yeah, big shout out to them, and yeah, I'm not super thrilled winning that way. I got some metaphors I could use to describe how I feel about it, but it is what it is. We're not really for points, we're part-time, so I guess Ty's going to get some good points here tonight. But congrats to everybody. Ty, Chase, Nick, Terry, all of them had good runs tonight.
And that's the driver, the number 13 of Jonathan Smith here. He'll still win here at the Kentucky Speedway. We'll scoot down here to the second place finisher, which will be the number 88 of Ty Robertson. Ty, kind of walk us through your race here tonight. As this Exalter Chevy has some speed in it, was able to drive up through the field on a long run. Just kind of walk us through it.
Yeah, we were kind of lacking some short run speed here tonight. I mean, saving the tires is mainly what I was trying to do, but the balance wasn't too good on the short run. The team dialed it in really good on the long run in practice. We were able to drive back to the field most of the time. Getting to the lead was frustrating. It was hard to pass the leader, getting pinched on the bottom. But it happens. It's annoying that wreck happened right there at the end. I got put in the wall. I think it broke my right rear. It was not driving good coming out of 3 and 4, so we were lucky to get second still. But it was a great race. Good win to Jonathan. We're not teammates here in this league, but I still work with him every now and then. It's nice to see him get the victory lane.
And that's the driver, the number 88 of Ty Robertson, who'll bring home the third place finish here tonight. We'll scoot up here to this STI Johnson, number 1 machine of Chase Johnson. Chase, kind of walk us through your race here tonight. Backup car out of the practice session. Looks like it had some speed in it. Had a chance there late on 4 tires. Just looks like the new tires will come and get you.
Honestly, man, I had no idea where our balance was tonight. Qualified was honestly, we started out in practice not really with any speed, and then didn't qualify really wanted to, and just trying to work our way to the front. And during the race, trying just to figure the car out. Honestly, we haven't raced these in a while, so just trying to figure it back out. And feel like we got it a little bit. We led a few laps, but I'm just lacking a little bit of balance. But like I said, I wish that caution didn't come out to begin with. Feel like we would have won the race had it not come out, but it is what it is. Like you say, this race is going to happen. I'm happy with P3. Congrats to Jonathan. It's always cool for them guys to get a win. So love to support KnappDaddyRacing, and appreciate you putting it on. Can't wait to watch it back later, and yeah, we'll see you at the next one.
That's the driver number 1 of Chase Johnson here. We will scoot down to the 02 of Nicholas Maynard, who will bring home the 4th place spot here tonight. Nick, kind of walk us through your race here tonight at Kentucky.
Yeah, we had a fun race here tonight. Had a fast 02 Maynard Motors is up there battling with Jamestown for the lead. Made a little contact. Apologies on my end, but otherwise than that, we had another battle at it, and he ended up getting the better of me. I tried to save a little bit of tires as we knew we were going to be short on fuel. But got the caution slide that we needed there at the end. Just didn't have enough tire to get there to the front. We'll take a P4. That's the driver of the 02 of Nicholas Maynard. We'll scoot down here to the number 81 if he still has a copy of Terry Hughes Jr. Terry, kind of walk us through the final restart right there, going into turn 1 on the white flag, shook up the racetrack. Things kind of get discombobulated there on the back straightaway. Kind of walk us through what happened out your front windshield.
Yeah, man, it was a great race. We had a short run car. We were trying to stretch it to be a long run car, but there towards the end of the runs, we were kind of lacking. But there towards the end on that last restart, that we thought we had the car. We didn't know there were some guys back there that had some fresh tires or anything, but there's always that possibility. And then coming through 1, not expecting someone to just full send it through 1 and take 3 guys out was insane. And of course, there at the end of the race, I let it get the best of me because that's not how we race, and that's definitely not how I tend to want to take myself and go do something like that. But I was heated a moment. Probably going to get kicked for or get disqualified for a race, probably at Charlotte, which is our best track. Definitely never going to have a win there, but it happens. Definitely, I take it. I did it. My fault. Glad to end up with a top 5 though after all that. Just not the way we wanted it.
That's the number 81 of Terry Hughes Jr., who'll gain some more fans here tonight as the action's taken after the race here. Will make the crowd rip and roar. Will continues to happen here as the Gen-6 Cup Series continues on in the following months here in the Madness Racing League. We'll throw it back up there to the booth. This is in the Kentucky Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, back up here to the booth where the post-race show is getting ready to take place here tonight at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. We just saw one hell of a show for the KnappDaddyRacing 150 that seen what we thought was going to be Colin Cole, the race winner here tonight at Kentucky. But he was disqualified from the race win after several aggressive driving contacts there. We've seen him send Blake Koscheil and Terry Hughes Jr. up the racetrack, coming to the checker flag there in turns 3 and 4, and Jonathan Smith was rewarded the race win here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have all the great good news for you momentarily when we return for the post-race show for the KnappDaddyRacing 150. Welcome back here on the main Booty Scoop Racing broadcast whatever you want to call it. KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150 live here at the Kentucky Motor Speedway. Fans are beginning to pile out of this beautiful racetrack here tonight. The lights are fully illuminated. The trailers are here. The garage area is back up and working gear. Guys are starting to pull apart these race cars. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll show you how it all started out here tonight with Terry Hughes Jr. on the pole for the Booty Scoot Racing channel. He took that pole position and did a lot with it. He had a great pit stop earlier tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. This was the final results, though, here tonight. Colin Cole disqualified from the race win, which gave it to Jonathan Smith. Jonathan Smith will take home the trophy here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel, followed by Ty Robertson, Chase Johnson, Nicholas Maynard, Terry Hughes Jr., Jerry Powers, Tim Powers, Blake Koscheil, Bobby Kyle, Tony Cook, James Fallon, Kevin Tankos, Corey Tessner, Michael Johnson, and Trent Hughes. Those were the top 14 drivers here tonight on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the KnappDaddyRacing Designs Gen-6 Cup Series for the Madness Racing League. Reminding you to head on over to www.KnappDaddyRacingDesigns.com for all of your iRacing paint, ski, liveries, and needs. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll bring up the remaining schedule that KnappDaddyRacing Designs has went on board all year long for. They'll be on board 2 weeks from now at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hopefully we see some more action-packed racing like we sure seen here tonight. Then we're headed over to Bristol for some first short track racing of the year, and then Watkins Glen. Ladies and gentlemen, looking to be a fun season here on the Booty Scoot Racing channel. Indianapolis, Talladega, Auto Club, Richmond, New Hampshire, several throwback tracks, all to get down to that championship race at Las Vegas. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll make sure I empty out my bank account to not have anything on me in Vegas so I don't lose much more than I anticipate. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you tonight for watching the the Gen-6 Cup Series KnappDaddyRacing Designs 150 for the KnappDaddyRacing KDR Cup Series for the Madness Racing League. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it here tonight in Kentucky. Jonathan Smith backs into a win here after Colin Cole gets disqualified for aggressive driving. Coming to the checkered flag, Jonathan Smith running part-time on the year, so it doesn't look like it'll stand and affect the standings much. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you head on over to the MRL X page for all of the point standings and stuff like that. All those great goodness on your screen. You'll be able to find that right there on the X screen at MRL Racing League. Ladies and gentlemen, Appreciate you guys tuning in here tonight for the Racing Designs 150, KnappDaddy Racing Designs 150. That'll do it for us here. We want to remind you folks, we will be back next Friday. That'll be after Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody for the Madness Racing League. If you're going to tune in Monday and Tuesday night for the ID5 Asphalt Series, we will see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Madness Racing League Gen 6 Cup Series back in action here on the Booty Scoot Racing Channel.